Today, we're going to talk about what every accounting firm owner should know about where we are right now, which is where, Matthew?
We're in the Philippines. We're actually right now in Manila.
We are in Manila in the Philippines. We're going to talk about the Philippines. We're on our way back to the States tomorrow. We've been here about a week.
About a week.
So I thought we'd share some things that we have learned here that I think would be helpful to other firm owners about the Philippines. All this today on a fantastic happy hour conversation between a couple of us knuckleheads who are building our firm in really weird ways, right? This is a very weird way that we're building a firm if we're running around in the Philippines having drinks by the pool. So, Matthew, do you have a sponsor today?
We are sponsorless today, but we're going with, but I do have something to drink.
Oh yeah, good. That's key. Otherwise,
we're going with Philippine beers here. So I'm doing the San Mig Light. That's a very like Corona meets Dos Equis meets Soul beer kind of for the border folks here. So San Mig Light. It's a nice one here. What are you drinking?
I'm going with the Red Horse, extra strong. Just like me, right, Matthew?
Yeah.
Extra strong. It's a little bit
kind of
heavier.
more amber.
A little more amber. It's about a 6%.
6.9. Yours is
6.9?
right. Mine's a 5. Yours is 6.9. I think. Right. Cheers.
Cheers, dude. All right.
Okay.
Let's get into it. I'll start with you, Matthew. What's something surprising? Something you've learned about the Philippines?
It takes a long time to get here, dude.
Okay. You want to describe? Talk about how.
Well, our journey began with a 4-hour sitting on the tarmac. We were lucky to have only one connecting flight. So then after 4 hours sitting on the tarmac, we flew 15 and a half hours. Well, we were supposed to fly 15 and a half hours to Seoul, Korea before changing planes and going to Manila. But that was too simple for our trip. Instead, we got diverted for fuel issues to Tokyo, and then refueled, and then went to Seoul, and then
stay overnight.
And then we had to stay overnight in Seoul. So it took us. How long did it take us to get here? 36 hours, about. Not including time changes.
Yeah, not including time changes. About 36 hours.
And we are plus 13 hours ahead of the U.S. right now.
So 13 hours ahead.
So that was it. That was takeaway number one out of the gate was like, it can be hard to get here.
It's still tough to get. It's a hike. But again, that's from those of you on the West Coast, a little bit faster, I would think, than us East Coasters. But we got here.
Yeah, we went over Alaska, by the way. If anybody's curious,
you take a very weird route.
So we ended up going straight over Anchorage because we stopped in Tokyo, but we were supposed to go really north, almost the north side of Alaska here. Which we were almost never over water on the whole flight, which blew our minds. But
you think that's all the way around the globe,
Yeah, you think you're going over the Pacific the whole time or whatever.
Way up north and down. Nope. I don't know. It's crazy. So
I know nothing about flight paths, but that was a long flight. I was not expecting that. What about you? What was the first thing that popped out of you, dude?
Kind of a funny one, and that is the Filipino people really love Christmas.
Oh yeah, the burr season.
So okay, I'll mention that in a minute. So when we landed here, again, it's November. I mean, Christmas in full swing. Full swing going on here.
Like from every restaurant we ate at, it's all Christmas carols.
All Christmas carols, all Christmas music, Christmas trees, lights, everywhere. So,
and it's November 15th right now?
Yeah. You learned.
Yeah, the burr rule.
Tell them about the burr rule, Matthew.
The burr rule, we asked when do you start celebrating Christmas? Because in the U.S., it's kind of after, we just tell people like after Thanksgiving usually, right? Maybe you see it after Halloween in some of the stores, but like
you're being aggressive.
You don't really start celebrating until they said there's a burr rule, so they celebrate Christmas in every month that ends in burr. So they were like September, October, November, December. So 4 months of Christmas in the Philippines.
Yeah,
that was eye-opening.
It's eye-opening. That's for sure. Okay. But it's kind of fun. I mean, it's not. I guess it is over the top. It feels like it's over the top compared to what we do in the States. But I think that's the thing about people in the Philippines is maybe it gets into the third one is very kind of, I won't say jolly. It sounds like we're still talking Christmas. But like they're just really happy people, aren't they? Like they're just very outgoing. They're super friendly.
Everybody's
really
super friendly.
Super friendly. I haven't met anybody who's not been very friendly. They're just very celebratory people.
Yep.
And they love to celebrate. I asked them because someone had one of our team had a birthday yesterday, and was it Joy?
No.
Oh, I can't remember. Someone had a birthday yesterday.
Sharia.
Sure, I did. And we asked, like, do you guys celebrate the same way you do Christmas? And I said, oh yeah, this will be a big, they party for quite a while for this. So I think Lisa's mom's got a birthday coming up. They're taking a few days off, so they're just very celebratory people in general. But man, Christmas is
Gotta love that.
some next level stuff.
I found one out yesterday. One of the interesting things about the Philippines is that traffic lights and lanes are suggestions, not rules.
True.
On the trip from the
True.
Manila, on the second time we landed in Manila, the first time I didn't get this feeling, but when we kind of drove through the heart of Manila to our hotel today, man, lights were optional, it felt like. Lanes at one point weren't even on the ground. Like there was at one point where there were no lanes. Like they weren't even lines or lanes. And then people were driving as such even when there were lines later. So that was kind of funny.
Traffic is interesting. They do have on their stoplights too. They've got countdowns.
They do have the countdown clocks. They're cool.
Yeah, it's in these countdown clocks. You can see how much longer.
You have to wait at a red light.
Yeah, the red light.
Or how long the green light's going to be there.
That would be a disaster in the U.S., though, wouldn't it?
Oh man!
I think people would be like, you could see the countdown,
the
you'd
rage
be flooring it to get through, or you just everybody would be revving their engines, getting ready to go and take off like a starting line. Like do a little bit more. That's what I would be doing if I were, if I saw a countdown clock. So, okay, I don't know. So the traffic is definitely a little bit.
The lanes optional is kind of fun. Do you have any other fun ones?
Yeah, I think that another one too is it's just very. He feels very Western in some ways, right?
Very Western.
Like in the sense of just super open to U.S. I mean, it's more familiar. It's a beautiful country. It's more familiar than I thought it would.
It feels more familiar
just
being here.
English everywhere.
English everywhere.
Every restaurant, every sign, there's English. It's just really easy. I think once you're here, I mean, again, getting here is a bit of a challenge, but once you're here, getting around, not been an issue at all.
Yeah.
At least getting around.
I felt totally different. Yeah, like just having stopped and stayed in a hotel in Seoul, totally different, totally opposite, right? Like, oh man, like I'm gonna have trouble communicating. Philippines, never felt like that ever. Not at one place.
Even, when people aren't speaking to us directly as Americans, you hear Filipino people speaking to each other in English very, very often.
Very often.
And for those who haven't experienced or met Filipino people, they kind of grew up and learned more U.S.-based English. So it's not kind of the Queen's English.
It's not the Queen's
English. So its phrasing and terminology is very accustomed to what Americans are used to. So just as communication feels really, really easy.
For sure.
And again, haven't felt intimidated at all about, oh my gosh, I can't read this sign. So that's been another nice surprise, I think.
Definitely.
What else?
What
other fun things you got?
The other fun ones?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's hot.
It is hot. It's warm. They don't get
beautiful and hot.
They don't get snow.
I think they're probably more pro basketball than football.
Oh,
they
like
are. Basketball more than football, like
very
as a sport,
basketball.
like very much. So that was kind of, I didn't know what to expect there from like a sports, like the fans' perspective, but the sports gear around here, a lot of basketball, a lot of Lakers gear, a lot of
LeBron jerseys,
a lot of LeBron jerseys.
They're big basketball folks, and
lots of basketball folks.
We talked a little bit of boxing with them the other day with Manny Pacquiao, who's one of the more famous team members. But even they mentioned him playing basketball and running for president and things like that.
Oh, I got a better one.
Yeah.
Dude, selfies are next level here. Selfies are next level.
That is true.
The amount of selfies I took with people the last 3 days is like more than in my entire life combined. I took more selfies in the last 3 days than I have in my entire life. I'm pretty sure.
Lots of selfies.
Lots of selfies.
Going up, the
Got the heart.
Oh, the heart one. That's,
we
that's
had
a
a fun sign for our team when we did our cheers. Oh, cheers was a thing.
When we were in Boracay Island, we were there for the
Boracay. You're pronouncing it like we did before we came here. It is Boracay. Spelled Boracay.
Boracay Island. We were there, and I was going to say, what was the? You were
gonna go down the yellow path, right?
Oh yeah. So we wanted to do some fun team activities. We played some games and things. But one of the activities we did was group cheering. We broke up and we had a cheering competition.
For a chant or a yell or like very similar to like a sporting event or like a college team or something.
Cheerleading. I mean, it was interesting. Each of us had like a cheer we did. There's usually some choreography, a little bit of dancing. Sometimes
I did a lift, like a full lift, like the cheerleader lift and stuff.
It
was next level.
But everybody participated. I mean, everybody was
had a blast.
The ladies, the guys, and we're very into it. So just again, fun-loving. I think fun-loving, not pretentious at all. But they want to do these cheers, like these Acuity cheers. They made up all these creative acronyms with Acuity and.
Oh yeah.
By the way, my team won. I had the best cheer, mostly because of me. I got up and made the shape of all the Acuity letters.
Team Yellow was robbed.
Team Red
by the judges. Team Red over there.
That's right, but I believe that you're the winners. That was fun.
That was pretty cool. So you want to shift to the serious stuff, like the
sure. We'll keep it
We'll keep it light, but
quick episode. But there's some
light but heavy.
Yeah, it's just like maybe some of the deeper things. Like again, I think you were surprised about. I'll go first.
Go ahead. I know what you're going to say. I think.
Okay. The first one is, I just think that it's really cool how focused on their families they are here. I mean, really, really family oriented.
Lots of intergenerational living situations. Huge number of children taking care of their parents. Much more so prevalent than the United States.
We have team members here who are in their 20s.
In their 20s, taking care of their parents. In intergenerational living situations. Just huge number of people in that situation. So the family dynamic is just very, very different than I think the United States. It's just
incredibly meaningful. I mean, I think in the terms of huge respect for.
Oh yeah, I felt like I need to call my mom and tell her I love her.
I know it. That's a good point. You probably should do that. And they're wonderful about that.
I love you, Mom.
We got to meet one of our team members' moms and her son and her brother, and I really liked. I was kind of touched by how her brother walked her mother through the airport, and just holding her hand around her, and they have Lisa told me, who's one of our team members here, talking about how they use different terms and words to kind of out of respect. I noticed they kept saying thank you, Paul, and I thought, you hear thank you. I'm like, who's Paul? Like, who's Paul? And no, that's just a sign of you say that to someone who's older than you, or someone that you feel deserves respect. So you should
that was like the ma'am. Yeah, that you thought that was mom.
Ma'am, yeah, ma'am, a sir, a lot of ma'ams, a lot of sirs. You should probably do that for me since I'm older than you. You should give me more respect.
I should. Sorry, Kenji mom.
Kenji sir. Say thank you, Paul.
Thank you both.
But yeah, lots of I think really cool stories of just seeing people take care of each other and family members, and some team members were asking by how many family members lived in their homes. Some of them one of our team members had 13 people living together, and again, large family homes, and each have their own rooms, but it'll be, sister and her husband and kids, and another one there, and but again, different than we experienced in the U.S. It feels like it kind of throws back a little bit to maybe generations before us, but I think some of that's changing here, but I really like seeing that family side. They've talked about, if you take care of our families here, like that's the most important thing for them, is helping take care of their families. So something to really think about and be aware of when you're particularly the Philippines, is just being mindful of team members who are here, how much their family means to them, and as a way of just making sure you're providing them with the appropriate benefits and a work situation that helps them be with their families. That's important. Hugely important.
That kind of lends to, like, there's an important acknowledgement, like, as you learn how things work here, there's an employee situation, there's a contractor situation, and all these situations come with different benefit levels, like in the U.S. So thinking about healthcare and those things for your team, you need to be thoughtful of your partners that you've chosen to go to market with in those things. If you're using a partner, if you're doing it yourself, you got to ask the next question about, I mean, are these folks getting healthcare, and thinking about benefits and things like that in that regard. I mean, it's interesting, like there's a couple of takeaways around, really making sure people do their annual physicals. We've even heard other entrepreneurs talk about it's really important to them to provide financial literacy classes to their employees. Those are just health and kind of financial stability are two areas where you overgeneralize, like your team might be struggling. So in the Philippines, so that's an interesting one to me.
Let's bring back up a short one, so we got to get back to.
I got more.
I know. I was going to say I want one more.
Oh, one more?
Yeah, one more. I think a good one that you've talked a lot about.
No, I got one more before that one.
Oh, you did? Okay, go down.
Well, it kind of is the same thing.
Okay. I know what you're going to say, but this one is, I think, a really good one.
Huge piece of feedback that we got was that in the Philippine culture, it's normal for a manager to take credit for all the people's job under them. And so they were reconciling with a situation where people were getting credit, right? So if you build in a situation where the right people doing the job are getting credit, it's a huge employment differentiator here. And that was an aha moment for me. It was just like, you have a strategic advantage over other employers here if you give credit where credit is due. And that kind of leads to my overall theme was like...
I'll say it real quick before you go to the theme. I was told that very specifically as well 2 nights ago about how important just that acknowledgement or that recognition is. Recognition it goes a long way. These are the Filipino people, my experience has been, are pleasers. They love to be helpful. They love to help. The really thing they're asking in return is obviously a fair wage, but beyond that, it's just recognition. It means a lot to them to say a good job or to just give them some acknowledgement of the work they've done before. They really love to be helpful. They love to be helpful.
They love to be helpful. They are. Like, there is a thing, I think, you should talk about the conversation you had about confirming what task you had.
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
That's a good one. So again, I was asking more questions about times they've had challenges. And one thing they mentioned is because they do love to help, they love to, just give good service, but that sometimes as pleasers, they always want to say yes to things. And sometimes even if they don't quite understand the task at hand, they may say, you may give them something to do. They may say, okay, I got it. They said, they told me that if you could go and just reconfirm with us and say, hey, can you please again describe the task that I just gave you, just to make sure you understand it. And they said they would love to have that more, because there are sometimes they just have, naturally they will say
a little inhibition around
about asking again. And if you can, they said that's not offensive to them at all. It's actually very helpful if you were to say, just one more time, I want to make sure you got it. Can you describe to me about what the next task or project is? And they said we would love it if Americans and U.S. companies ask that more on a more regular basis. That way, we feel sometimes embarrassed to ask. So feel free to be very direct with them. They love good direct feedback and making sure they know what to do, because they want to please, do the right thing. So if you can help them get to that quicker, they're really grateful for that.
I guess to wrap it up, my final thing is at the end of the day, these are kind of generalizations, and these are just people. Like we talked about this at one of the conferences. Outsourcing, like the big aha moments for us was like at some point you realize, oh, these are humans with families, and they are on career paths and different trajectories with different experience levels and things like that. And that was hugely represented when we were here. We have about 30 teammates here, and we had shy teammates. We had crazily gregarious, outgoing teammates, right? So it's not like everybody's like meek and whatever people have kind of characterized. Like some of these are overgeneralizations and just kind of observations of some of the culture stuff. But when you dig into it, you have people that are leaders, you have people that are going to be followers, you have people that are gregarious and people that are shy. You have kind of like the entire, and everybody in between, right? So, like really be thoughtful about that, right? Don't be naive to the fact that you might get a great leader as your first hire or a great doer. So that was a huge kind of theme for me.
Yeah.
Was it's just about people at the end of the day, and you have to treat them like people.
I think that they wouldn't be offended here if you refer to their work as offshoring or as virtual assistants, VAs. That's not offensive. I would say also be cautious about that in those terms of thinking of them just as that. Because like Matthew said, they are just people. I mean, they're people. I think when you think of them,
want to be part of your team.
Yeah. They'd love to be. Yeah, they'd love to be part of your team. Think of them just like teammates who live somewhere else. And I think you'll be very surprised by how responsive they are. Because again, they've been incredible colleagues for us, incredible team members, and we're so happy to be here. Happy to be doing even more here in the future. It's just been awesome. So I just encourage other firm owners, if you're interested in very talented people, big country, lots of people here, lots of great accounting skills for finding. Oh my gosh. Feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to give you some thoughts and experiences that we've had.
Yeah, we've messed stuff up like we always do. We've done some things right. Like we probably should have been here 2 years ago.
Probably.
Like we're 2 years behind on this trip.
But beautiful country.
Beautiful.
We plan to be here on a much more regular basis. For sure. Well, we'll do, okay, let's before...
We got to rate the beers.
We'll rate the beers, let's rate the beers. Okay. What are you giving the San Mig Light?
I'm going solid. It's like a solid 3.75 with a 0.25 bump for location. Well, so we're going to go with a 4. I'm going to go 4 for the San Mig Light.
I'm going to go, let's see. I'm going to also go 3.75, but I'm going to give it a half-point bump for location, but I'm also going to take it down a 0.25 bump for how hungover I was from this the other night.
So straight 4?
We're straight 4s. We're straight 4s on
the Red Horse beer.
So we'll wrap up with this. Do you remember?
Oh.
The cheers? This is in Tagalog, which is their language. So cheers here. Tagay. Tagay. And we'll say thank you to all of you viewers, all of you listeners. Send us some messages about what you want to know about Philippines. But mostly I'll say thank you to all of our team here in the Philippines who hosted us this week. It was privilege. It's just been amazing.
What a deal.
And you remember how to say that one?
No, you didn't. Don't put me on the spot. Go ahead.
Thank you here in the Philippines is. Come here. Remember?
I'm terrible. What is it?
Oh, Matthew. I'm going to see if. Come on, Matthew. Have you not learned a single thing yet?
No.
Salama.
Salama
Salama all. Cheers. Hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time here on Drink While You Can.